Day 216. That is correct. I have verified. It's 216, not 215, not 217, 16. That is tragic. Bro, I actually get good sleep. I'm not even kidding. I sleep well. Oh my days. That's not good. That's not good. We're gonna have to wear glasses tomorrow. Today, we have been on it all day. So in the morning, I spent the first part of the morning just fixing up and finalizing our 301A and 308. They are in production state, except 301A still needs some cleaning up. I need to send out an update just to fix out some of the input. The about section is bugging out a little bit. It's not that it's a critical error. It is an error nonetheless, and it's something it should be cleaned up. Doesn't mean it's failing. It's still working and it's getting the results. Another thing is I need a rate limit, so I updated the front end. So I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the authorization and the limiting I've been doing has been on the front end. So any cheeky bugger can abuse that. Unfortunately, I've whitelisted. So I've set up a whitelisting system. So because the website is purely a dashboard for my own clients, I just made it so that it's just whitelisting anyone who's not approved by me, by the admin, which is me. So it whitelists anyone like, okay, this tool, every tool has to be whitelisted. So I can have a bunch of tools just on the front end on the website, and pretty much no one can see anything except what they've been assigned, which is cool. It makes it a lot simpler for me, and the website doesn't have to be anything special or anything fancy because it's just a dashboard at the end of the day. We have to, okay, so I fixed that. I was on call with our pilot client. Okay, this is a big thing. I think this video is gonna be a bit longer. So, real quick, we went out to the gym. We've been building out our assets and stuff like that. We got stuck on this little server issue for an hour. Turns out, Cloud Code's a retard and decided I don't want to just use, you know what, I'm not gonna explain it, but Cloud Code's a bit of a retard and a waste of my time. And then that really has been vital because that hour would be so useful by now. There's so much I could have finished by now, I think. I still have to, I still need to draft up a proposal, sort of, to my leads, an affiliate proposal, and then we need, if I check, I need to build out the outreach workflow for my email funnel. And yeah, tomorrow is also a really packed day. I've got an event that I'm going to, and the timing of it's pretty unfortunate because there's a lot of back-end things I need to complete. Unfortunately, this event is priority because I can't reschedule an event that's not on me to do, but I can reschedule these things. Given that I did not foresee this happening when I planned out my entire timeline, I might just push back by one day. I think that's fine, because I didn't foresee this, and this is a pretty important thing to do. I'm just gonna go to bed and then wake up for when rate limits reset, finish out doing the back end, go back to bed, and then wake up again when rate limits reset and finish off everything and continue what I was doing. Today I hit legs and I cramped after like the first set. Turns out, pushing to failure on your first leg session in a few days, not the best idea. Okay, another thing is, like I said, the main focus now is cash flow, because I really do want to go into this niche, and I think there's a lot of potential here, given how standardized it is, and it's so scalable. It is so scalable, and it's perfect for someone who's solo. If something's scalable and does not require a huge amount of ongoing technical debt, ongoing costs, the overhead is a bit of a one-time thing for the most part. That is great for me as a solo operator. And so that's why I want to go into it. But the caveat is I kind of need a lot of money to afford the sort of exposure, the insurance, and the fees that I could potentially, or not the fees, fines that I could incur if I fuck up. And if I fuck up, I cannot afford it as of right now. My capital is well below the 50 grand fines that are there, the insurance, and I do have to be like insured. And then I also need to pay for a lawyer for a liability cap in the agreements, in the contracts. So my contracts is not just a simple, contract, send an invoice, like a SaaS product, which does not require much, compliance. There's not much legal caveat to it, I guess. But with this, I'm literally in the legal world, and I'm handling sensitive information. There's a lot of compliance, and it means that I can't just do willy-nilly contracts. I actually have to have a lawyer to make sure my contracts are not bullshit, I'm not getting bullshitted, and my liability is capped. Because if it's an uncapped, I could incur a lawsuit or some shit like that of up to 500K. I don't have 500 grand, unfortunately, and so we got to do that. Another thing is, so because of that, I need to focus on not only just distribution, which has been the main focus, purely just distribution, getting the front end out as soon as possible, sorting out all our back end processes so that I can just focus on distribution, right? That's cool, but now I need to also focus on cash flow. And so the main approach for me is I'm going to set up a secondary ICP, and then with this secondary ICP, I'm going to, I really do have to split my attention across 2 ICPs, which are 2 different niches as well. But that's because I need cash flow. And right now, trying to work my leads in this niche that I really want to go into, it would amount to something, obviously, but in the short term, it's not the best idea. And so I think I'm going to go like a 90-10 or 80-20 split, where 80% of my focus is on the leads, the ICP, that will give me the cash flow that I need to then switch gears and go 100% on the niche that I want. 20% is just me just trying to establish a network, establish a connections, and establish my funnel so that when I pivot and go full 100% into the niche that I'm going to, it's not a drastic shift. I've already got my bases established, and so it's not too difficult, which is good. And I think this is a good approach. Now, this 80-20 split with the secondary ICP does not necessarily mean I'm not gonna decline any other work that comes my way. Kind of will take it probably, especially if it's something that I've got, templated out. So the plan is with the secondary ICP, I'm gonna set out some MVPs, some templates, very customizable, can adjust 1 or 2 nodes here and there, which is great. We need to maintain scalability even if it's a secondary ICP. And it's gonna be lower ticket. I'm gonna go for lower ticket to medium ticket, but I'm not gonna go for the high ticket. It's too technical, too high cost, too high touch. Lower ticket, we're gonna go for low ticket, low touch, low cost, low price, and really productized, services. So I'm trying to avoid having to completely tailor out a workflow if that ever comes to the case where a client or a lead really wants that, like a really customized workflow, or they want a workflow but what they have is kind of like not what I have pre-built. Obviously I'm going to charge a higher setup fee. I don't give a shit. Don't waste my time. Time is money, and I could be building something else for like 2 different clients at the same cost. Like, I could get more money from more clients with easier work than this one really expensive dude. So that's what I'm saying. So cash flow and then pivot. So right now, yeah. And then once the cash flow is done and I've got enough capital, I haven't decided how much capital I will really need to make a safe pivot. But once I figure that out, then I'll know how long I need to be in this cash flow, thing for. Also, I'm probably gonna still continue with a bit of pilot, pilot clients, maybe one more pilot client. So that's not, maybe even a different niche, because when I was talking to my pilot client, the one that I have right now, they were so happy with the service I provided. They were like, they're willing to go out there and tell other people, even her husband, which is great. That should, the word of mouth is really going to work in my favor to get more work, get more leads sent my way through, well, it's not necessarily an affiliate funnel, but I was only asking for testimony, on the website and shit like that. But if she's willing to go, above and beyond to do that as well, I mean, given that all the cost is incurred onto me, I'm taking on all the cost so it's literally a free tool, free product. It's just pure win for her. So obviously she's doing this out of her own good heart. And so I'm thinking, okay, if I take on one more pilot client, yes, it'll be expensive. I've already felt the pinch in my wallet of this pilot client, not just the time I've had to spend building, but the actual money. But getting one more pilot client, I think that would be really high leverage, testimonial, and maybe I'm kind of banking on them, being also on that word of mouth, like, yo, I love this shit. This is great. This is amazing. This is exactly what I needed, and I'm getting it for free. Obviously, with especially after, okay, I'll wait a while, but at some point she'll have to stop being a pilot and actually have to start paying. Obviously she's doing me a great favor, and I'm also doing her a great favor, but at some point, maybe after like 30 or 30 plus days, maybe 60 days. Actually, no, it's actually pretty expensive. 30 days should be fine, but okay, after like 14 days, I think 14 days is reasonable. I'm gonna start charging her on her own usage, which is fine. And then after like 2 months, since from now on, I guess around that time, or 3 months maybe, then I'm gonna start charging the markup for retainer and stuff like that, you know. But like once I'm so integrated into her own workflows that getting rid of me kind of doesn't make sense, so she's willing to pay the markup of, obviously, so I can make a profit. But obviously, as a pilot, you know, I'm not being sentimental, but obviously I owe her one, she owes me one, so it's like, you know, it's fair trade. So that's why I do want to go for one more pilot. I think it's such a high leverage thing, and I think at the event tomorrow I can find another pilot client. You know what I'm saying? And instead of doing cold outreach to get this pilot client, I'm doing warm outreach because we are meeting in person, and I'm able to establish that trust in person. They know I'm real, and for the most part, they probably could not guess that I'm 18 years old. So it's gonna be a long video, but we're gonna upload it. Bye bye. God bless you all. Good night.